Gigantic listening towers, presumed to be of Jove origin, began decloaking all over New Eden this week. These coincided with the sudden appearance of heavily armed vessels that Concord is calling drifter battleships. Like the listening towers, the pilots of these ships carry signs of Jove origin. One of the first engagements involving drifters is causing great concern across New Eden. This footage shows fighters from the Thanatos-class carrier Rex attacking a lone drifter battleship. At first, the carrier seems to have the upper hand, its fighters slowly but surely wearing down the drifter's shields, until the drifter ship suddenly unleashes its primary weapon, destroying the carrier with a single shot. The ship's capsuleer and sole survivor, Dantheus, claims he was taken by complete surprise and that he's never seen such power. All attempts to communicate with the drifters have thus far proven futile. Fortunately, they don't appear to be hostile unless provoked.
Mr. Hawk, pursuit course. Engage.
Aye, sir.
What?
I can hear them.
I have a patient here who insists on coming to the bridge.
Welcome aboard the Enterprise E, Mr. Worf.
Thank you, sir. The Defiant.
Adrift, but salvageable.
Tough little ship.
Little.
Mr. Worf, we could use some help at tactical.
You do remember how to fire phasers.
Sensors show chronometric particles emanating from the sphere.
They're creating a temporal vortex.
Time travel.
Data, report.
We appear to be caught in a temporal wake.
Captain. Earth.
The atmosphere contains high concentrations of methane, carbon monoxide, and fluorine.
Life signs?
Population approximately 9 billion. All Borg.
How?
They must have done it in the past. They went back and assimilated Earth, changed history.
But if they changed history, why are we still here?
Temporal wake must have somehow protected us from the changes in the timeline. Sir, the vortex is collapsing.
Hold your course, Mr. Hawk. We must follow them back. Repair whatever damage they've done.
Come on.
Good night, Eddie. Go home.
You're gonna regret this tomorrow.
One of the things you should have learned about me by now is that I don't have regrets. Come on, Lily, one more round.
Z, you had enough. Huh? You're not going up in that thing with a drunken pilot.
Well, I sure as hell am not going up there sober.
What is that?
That is the constellation Leo.
No, that.
news of a stellar anomaly rocks New Eden. What was initially thought to be a sudden, massive stellar explosion, nicknamed Caroline's Star after the pilot who first spotted it, the distant anomaly has since baffled the scientific community. Shortly after its appearance, a team of astronomers triangulated its location, suggesting that these are the remnants of the star W477P. Located deep within Jove's space, the star was previously believed to be stable and not massive enough to cause an explosion of this scale. However, its unreachable location eliminates all possibility of confirming the actual cause. Scientists also remain puzzled by the anomaly's sudden, simultaneous visibility throughout New Eden. According to physicist Balti Katai, starlight appearing simultaneously across all systems in New Eden doesn't make any sense. The energy required to create such an event is incomprehensible. Given the unusual nature of the anomaly and the lack of any conclusive scientific explanation, its existence has inspired rampant speculation from all quarters. Popular theories explain it as either the discharge of a Jove superweapon against a Sancha invasion, a herald of the prophesied coming of Bob, or a sign of the impending apocalypse. We'll have more on this as the story develops.
After all these years?
We gotta get to the Phoenix!
To hell with the Phoenix.
There is utter confusion here in Safazan, as the condition of Empress Jamel Sarum remains unknown after a Titan carrying the Empress was destroyed by Drifter forces just a few minutes ago. The Empress was to attend the inauguration of the new Imperial flagship, the Arctoritas, at the Safazan headquarters of the Imperial Navy. Traveling in the Seraph, an Avatar-class Titan, the Empress was believed to be well protected and accompanied by a formidable escort. Despite this, the Seraph came under attack from a large Drifter force, appearing almost immediately after the Empress arrived in Safazan. Imperial guards attempted to intercept the attackers, but the Drifters used new tactics in their assault, utilizing their superior speed to head straight for the Seraph while ignoring all other ships. Within a matter of seconds, the Seraph was completely engulfed and obliterated by simultaneous fire from the entire Drifter force. It is obvious that the Empress was the sole target, and once the Seraph was destroyed, the Drifters warped away without concern for any other ships present. The speed and precision the Drifters displayed while executing their plan seems to have stunned the Imperial Guard, as they were unable to react in time to put up any defense during the short but devastating attack. While search and rescue efforts are still underway, there have been no announcements made, nor have we been able to confirm anything regarding the condition or whereabouts of Empress Jamel Sarum. We will of course keep on reporting as the situation develops. This is Alton Havery, reporting for The Scope.
Report.
Shields are down, long-range sensors are offline. Main power is holding. According to our astrometric readings, we are in the mid-21st century. From the radioactive isotopes in the atmosphere, I would estimate we have arrived approximately 10 years after the Third World War.
Makes sense. Most of the major cities have been destroyed, very few governments left. 600 million dead. No resistance.
Captain.
Mr. Worf, quantum torpedoes.
Ready, sir.
Imperial Navy forces have been mobilized in response to reports of increased Drifter activity across Amar space. A state of emergency has not yet been declared. However, tensions are high in systems where fear of an imminent threat is present. Many speculate that the escalation began following Cartham Conglomerate's decision to market the Entosis Link. It is a device that allows the user to project their consciousness into system mainframes. It is believed to be the result of reverse engineering technology acquired from sleeper scanners. Connecting the device to Jove observatories in attempts to retrieve Antikythera Thera has also yielded what looks to be sections of garbled surveillance logs dating several decades back. It still remains unclear what information was being collected by the Jove observatories or for what purpose. But evidence from those logs proves they have been watching us for decades. This drifter show of force and the unprecedented drifter incursion into Uli last week has strained the already fragile standoff, and concerns of a full-scale war seem more founded with each passing day. This is Alton Hovery reporting for The Scope.
Fire. Firing at the surface. Location?
Western Hemisphere. North American continent.
The Scope has received confirmation that for only the third time in history, a Revenant supercarrier has been destroyed. Piloted by its owner, Engineer, the Vagrant was one of very few Revenants to see service outside Sanchez Nation. When the Prelium Ultima fleet it operated with jumped out of 6E TAC MOW, the supercarrier stayed behind for reasons that are still unknown. Knowing the warp-in coordinates used by the Vagrant, members of Pandemic Legion saw the opportunity and planned an ambush. 13 hours after PL forces set their trap, the Vagrant warped in. Pinned down by vastly superior forces, the supercarrier never stood a chance, going down in seconds thanks to doomsday hits from the waiting Titans. While Pandemic Legion claimed the incident as an example of their tactical prowess, Engineer argued that he didn't initially recognize his opponents as a threat, thanks to a non-aggression agreement between PL and PU. This is Lena Amber in 6E TAC MOW, reporting for The Scope.
It's like a missile complex in central Montana.
Missile complex. The date. Data. I need to know the exact date.
April 4th, 2063.
April 4th. The day before first contact.
Precisely.
Then the missile complex must be where Zephyr Cochrane is building his warp ship.
That's what they came here to do. Stop first contact.
How much damage, Lieutenant?
Can't tell. Long-range sensors are still offline.
We have to go down there, find out what happened. Data, Beverly, you're with me. Have a security team meet us in Transporter Room 3. Computer, mid-21st century civilian clothing. Number 1, you have the bridge.
The war rages on as fights are taking place along the entirety of the borders of the Decline region, stronghold of the Imperium. Multiple Imperium stations across the Fade and Tanal regions have been lost as MBC forces push forward from multiple directions. The Goonswarm Federation home region of Decline has remained relatively unscathed, but will likely come under attack from MBC fleets in the near future. The Imperium is clearly consolidating their forces in their military staging system of Saranen and has moved most assets out of the less defensible outer regions. Military experts speculate that this consolidation may allow for stronger defense of key systems in the future. While the Imperium is outnumbered and still on the defensive, they do have the advantage of being an established and cohesive coalition with clear leadership. Its opponent, the Money Badger Coalition, MBC, is much more loosely formed with no apparent central command. In defiant speeches over the past week, the Mittani has argued that the Imperium's close ties will allow them to outlast their opponents. Imperium leadership claims that even if they lose their sovereign space temporarily, they will have their revenge against the alliances that make up the MBC. This is Alton Haveri, reporting for The Scope.
From all over New Eden, Capsuleers travel to Amar to watch the final rounds of the Imperial succession trials. Fighting on the behalf of Arizio Kor Azor of House Kor Azor is Lysis, and fighting for Katiz Tash Merkin of House Tash Merkin is Kellen Darklight. Stakes are high as the fight will determine who will become the successor of the late Empress Jamel I. Drifter threats, new emerging technologies, and conflicts in the Outer Rims are but few of the challenges that will await the new ruler. As prominent Capsuleers leave their ships at the Emperor Family Academy and prepare to go planetside, they as well must be wondering what the future has in store for them. From Dom Torsad, reporting for The Scope, this is Lena Amber.
One of the largest battles in the history of New Eden recently took place in the system of MTAC-O EE-8, located in the region of Tribute. The battle would culminate in the destruction of a Keepstar-class citadel, the largest structures ever constructed by man. It was a thought-provoking moment just before the final battle to see the last few remaining defending ships still tethered to their besieged Keepstar, seemingly trying to hold on for just a few moments more before breaking off, attempting their escape. Facing overwhelming forces and the Keepstar already vulnerable to destruction after attacks in the previous days, its owners, the Circle of Two Alliance, had started to evacuate the Keepstar, leaving the Tribute region to relocate in low sec. With the Keepstar surrounded on all sides by smaller Fortizar and Astrahus-class citadels, constructed to be used as staging posts, the attackers decided to change their carrier-based tactics from the previous attack and started forming up massive battleship fleets in preparation for the final push.
We didn't bring any major super cap forces this time because we lost a lot of fighter bombers last time. They're worth quite a lot of money, and why waste a bunch of fighter bombers if we don't have to, right? We're gonna have so many subcaps that we don't need fighter bombers to hit the damage cap of the Keepstar.
One can only imagine the finality felt by the Keepstar inhabitants as one by one the ships broke their tethers and left the system. As the last ship, a Leviathan-class Titan, made its jump out of system, the fate of the Keepstar was already sealed. In a final act of defiance, the remaining occupants dug their heels in, determined to take as many attackers with them as possible. Only minutes later, the attackers moved in, engaging the Keepstar from up close, which also brought them into the range of the Keepstar defenses, including its devastating arcing Vorton projector, whose beam of destruction jumped between groups of attacking ships on regular bases, leaving horrific destruction in its wake. For almost 6 hours, the attackers kept up the pressure, with up to 5,000 ships firing at the Keepstar, while at the same time constantly replacing the mounting losses suffered from the Keepstar defenses. Fleets of the defending Circle of Two and their allies did not enter MTAC-O directly, but instead they sprung a trap.
Well, we got XIX's route through a spy, and we just set up a trap, and we converged on them. They thought that we were all sitting on Titans ready to go into M-O, but we were really all in range of their route. And then when they hit Obi and warped to the Hakonnen Gate, we all just converged on them, and they couldn't even fight. Like, it was 1,200 versus 300. We got a pretty sizable victory there.
But despite taking an enormous toll on the attackers, destroying close to 4,000 ships during the course of the battle, the Keepstar eventually could not hold on any longer, and just shy of 6 hours into the fight, it suffered a series of catastrophic breakdowns, a sparking of uncontrollable fires, and tremendous explosions throughout its structure, before disappearing in what can only be described as an eruption of blinding light, silencing the voices of its countless millions of remaining occupants. This may have been the final chapter of the 3-month war for Tribute, as Circle of Two have now left it completely. But there is still uncertainty as to what will happen to the region in the near future.
We're probably just going to stage 1 system like a military alliance, as we do, and then we're going to clear citadels and then set up the correct SOV systems, right people holding SOV. From there, it's probably going to be rented.
Circle of Two, now resettling in Low-Sec, remain defiant.
While we may have lost a sizable and expensive asset in this fight, Circle of Two Alliance CEO Giggs, the person in control of the MTACO Keepstar, caused as much damage Eastwise as there was spent in construction and outfitting of the Keepstar. We'll now move on to bigger and better things with their allies, invading new space and making new allies and new enemies. This isn't the last time people have heard the name Circle of Two.
This is Alton Hovery, reporting for The Scope. New Eden was surprised a few days ago when, for the second time, Triglavians managed to take over billboards across the cluster. The message broadcast showed Triglavian envoys Zoria Triglav inviting Capsuleers to join them in the war against empires.
We are Zoria Triglav.
We speak for the convocation of Triglav outside this struggle. Glorification awaits those fit to join the flow of Viraj.
Liminal potential is divined among augmented Narodnia.
We invoke approving of Cybernauts in the ancient domains. Guide and ground the flow, and be fit for glorification. Obstruct and mortify the flow, and you will be extirpated. We speak for the convocation of Triglav outside the struggle. We are Zoria Triglav.
Needless to say, this ominous recording has sent shockwaves throughout Empire space. Officials of Concord's Big Four empires, who for some time have been concerned with the growing wealth and influence of Capsuleers, are questioning the loyalty of such pilots. Kasia Vulcaneer, Provost Marshal of Concord's Aegis Division and the primary coordinator of planetary and orbital defense against Triglavian invasions, responded to the broadcast.
Concord's Directive Intelligence Agency believes the Triglavians are attempting to entice independent Capsuleers into renegade actions that would suit the interests of the invaders. I can confirm that Concord is coordinating closely with member states in a broad effort to thwart Triglavian attempts to manipulate star system environments across New Eden. The Triglavians pose an existential threat to all of New Eden. We trust that Capsuleers will continue their efforts to combat the Triglavian menace and work with local defense forces to this end.
In the days since the broadcast, fierce fighting has been witnessed around Concord observatories, where the Triglavians have for the first time deployed their mighty Zernitra dreadnoughts against Concord and Empire fleets. The appearance of Triglavian dreadnoughts continues the apparent change in tactics marked by the collective withdrawing its massive world arcs from K-space. The implication that the Triglavians are seeking to draw Capsuleers to their side is a further alarming development in their overall strategy. Reports suggest that numerous Capsuleers have already accepted the Triglavian offer and assisted their attacks on Concord observatories. This is causing a great deal of unrest and unease in government circles. While Capsuleers are notoriously fickle and prone to shifting allegiance, these acts are regarded as a betrayal of New Eden civilization. The Scope will continue with updates as the situation develops. This has been Alton Hovery reporting for The Scope. Now, with a special story about recent events in Empire space, here is Lena Amber.
Last month, the residents of the Hex system witnessed some of the heaviest fighting ever seen in the high-sec partition of New Eden, when a Fortizar-class citadel owned by Hog Hitmen came under attack from multiple alliances. A couple of weeks prior to the engagement, Hog's Hitmen had declared war on at least 180 alliances and corporations, with the intention of ambushing as many lone pilots in high sec as possible. Perhaps they did not realize that their actions were also making themselves vulnerable to combined attacks from those 180 alliances. Rudazara, a fleet commander of Black Legion, one of the Alliance's war-decked, spotted an opportunity to band against Hog Hitman.
Most of these high-sec war-decking entities that declare war on other alliances and corporations usually choose alliances and corporations that can't fight back. And some of these newer founded corporations take months to build up assets and anchor them in space, just to have these kinds of corporations come in there and steamroll them. I can't respect that, and we're just glad that we could have returned the favor.
Banding together, Fleet Commanders Ezekiel of Vindictive, Master Glorfy from the Intergalactic Space Hobos, and Rudazara, on behalf of Black Legion, started coordinating attacks on Hog Hitman's Fortizar. During a brief period of neutrality, when Hog Hitman, in attempt to reduce the number of attackers, withdrew war declarations, Black Legion managed to construct an Astrahus-class citadel close to the Fortizar. As the conflict escalated, Pirate Alliance Pirat saw an opportunity to enter the target-rich environment and joined the war on the side of Hog Hitman. In the days leading up to the battle, multiple neutral freighters were observed bringing in ships and equipment to the Fortizar in preparation for the upcoming fight, and undoubtedly leaving the system with valuable assets. After weeks of fighting and skirmishing, the Fortizar reached its final timer. A decisive battle with the Fortizar hanging in the balance was inevitable. Since both sides could easily access their nearby citadels, stocked with a wide variety of ships and equipment, the subsequent battle turned out to be exceptionally fluid. On multiple occasions, fleets docked to switch ships in an attempt to counter tactics and outmaneuver opposing fleets. Destroyed ships could also be quickly replaced on the battlefield as Capsuleers made use of the reserves stored in the citadels. Fleets consisting of Hurricanes, Tornadoes, Ravens, Nagas, Hecates, and Vexors took turns dishing out mutual death and destruction. Finally, with fires raging in multiple locations and having completely lost its hull integrity, a magnificent bright flash signaled the end of the Fortizar, and with it, thousands of its inhabitants. Sporadic explosions continued to light up the battlefield for some time afterwards, as the fleet remnants continued exchanging shots, occasionally turning their attention to opportunistic battlefield salvagers. By the time the battle was over, around 600 ships had been destroyed, and along with the Fortizar, the total value lost is estimated to be over 80 billion ISK. The number of crew members killed is counted in the hundreds of thousands. So the assembled might of Black Legion, Intergalactic Space Hobos, and Vindictive managed to score a significant victory against the perceived villains of the piece, Hog's Hitman. Despite losing the Fortizar, Hog's Hitman remained defiant.
By spending nearly 31 billion ISK on over 180 wars at our bait staging Fortizar in Hek, we crushed our kill objectives with almost 700 Alliance kills with an estimated value of over 70 billion ISK. We have been asked if we've learned our lesson. The answer is simple. We call this an up success. Thank you.
Reporting for The Scope, this is Lena Amber.
Although many Edencom production facilities have been attacked and destroyed by Triglavian assault forces over the past weeks, Capsuleers throughout New Eden have been responding. Edencom's call for support in pushing the Triglavians back. Capsuleer action has prevented many raiding forces from taking away Edencom technology plundered from the wrecked facilities. While Concord and the Big Four empires have been coordinating against the Triglavians for many months, it was widely believed a change of strategy was needed. The formation of the New Eden Common Defense Initiative, or Edencom, was officially announced shortly after the latest attacks began. Led by Provost Marshal Kasiha Vulcanir, commander of Concord's Aegis Division, Edencom will provide a unified command for Empire forces as a new strategy of fortification and defense in depth is to be adopted across New Eden. Kasiha Vulcanir released the following statement to The Scope.
Fellow citizens of New Eden, for many months we have been facing, together, a threat of vast proportions. Make no mistake, this threat comes in the form of an enemy that is fierce, ruthless, and devious. The threat is most certainly real and dire. However, there is hope and a plan to resist the invaders. As I speak to you, new weapons are being developed and built. Rest assured that when the time comes, EdenCom will be ready with mighty defenses and armaments.
Surveillance footage released by EdenCom apparently shows a Triglavian invasion fleet staging area. Evidently, several world arcs are present, with many support ships. Most notably, a number of unknown structures of mysterious purpose are on site, possibly ready for transport to New Eden. EdenCom is also sharing images of new ships and weapons under development at secure locations. These new ships and structures seem to be of the same type as those seen in leaked EdenCom files circulating around New Eden in the past few days. EdenCom and the Upwell Consortium have also confirmed that the craft seen at these production facilities are under development by the Upwell Consortium. The precise nature and capabilities of these new ships and structures remains unknown as yet. To mount a successful defense, it is crucial to know where the enemy will strike. Ilmgataro and Haria Haritimaro have done extensive pattern research on the solar systems that have been affected by Triglavian activity. Their report suggests that solar systems containing young blue stars seem to be of particular interest to the Triglavians. The extensive report, edited by Makoto Priano and released by the Arataka Research Consortium, goes as far as listing 73 solar systems that they believe to be at special risk of invasion. EdenCom officials state that while the analysis is suggestive, they have not independently confirmed a list of targets. They say the precaution of evacuating systems would be premature at this time, though EdenCom defense preparations continue across New Eden. The Scope will continue monitoring the situation and keep New Eden up to date on. This is Alton Haveri reporting for the
Sonnet 1. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedst thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies. Thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou, that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makes waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. Tough talk.
I'm no expert, but I think we paid way too much for the stuff. I'll be back to you with an answer before you know it, lad.
I like kill people. Your story is strange. It is even more than strange. I hope you are capable.
Have you ever been up the Nile? Right then, didn't think so then.
You did not do anything.
as I predicted, the
We are in a dead end. The country's on the edge of the...
Our scientific...
Hello.
The bill has been voted on, and the bill has been. The bill has.
I wanted to congratulate you on your pro-life decision. It's just another reminder that abortion is the murder of an innocent and defenseless human being. By bravely putting yourself in the position that you did, I can assure you that the faithful will join me in supporting your decision.
The bill has been. The bill has been. The bill has. The bill has.
It would be advisable. As usual, we are seeing the traditional anti-liberal feast, with well-known Marxist rhetoric, red flags, pictures of the great liberators, and other friends of the people, smoke bombs, klaxons, etc. My men are naturally ready to intervene in the event of any excesses, particularly as the presence of the party's security service muscle always promises a virile end to demonstrations. As usual. I must let you know
The target.
Good news. I'll find out.
The funeral will take place next week.
You know. The theory that's...
Here is our growth forecast.
The bill has...
I don't usually like smooch.